Hi, girls. Welcome to the very first episode of this podcast. If you're between 15 and 25 and you've ever felt like everyone else is moving faster than you, this episode is for you. Maybe someone your age already has the dream job. Someone is traveling the world. Someone is engaged. Someone looks like they have the perfect body, perfect routine, perfect life. And meanwhile, you're just trying to understand who you are. I want to start this podcast by saying something I wish more girls heard. Your 20s are not a competition. They are a discovery phase. And nobody talks enough about that. So today, we are going to talk in depth about 5 of the most important topics to take into account in your 20s. Studies, love relationships, social pressure, family, and lifestyle. Let's start by talking about one of the biggest topics we're going to explore in this podcast. One of the 5 big areas of life that I think shape our 20s. And this one is called studies and preparation. Because how are we supposed to face life in our 20s? Do we prepare ourselves with more and more studies? Do we keep collecting degrees? Do we try to become the most prepared version of ourselves possible? Because if we think about it, we've been hearing this message since we were little. Study hard, get good grades, be the best student, build a strong CV, and then teachers tell us you need a good resume. Parents tell us you have to prepare yourself. Then university comes, and suddenly it's not enough anymore. Now it's do a master's, then another one, then maybe another specialization, another course, another certificate. And before we realize it, we're in this endless cycle of studying, and studying. And sometimes we even reach our late 20s or our 30s carrying this huge backpack full of degrees, certificates, masters, experiences. We become incredibly prepared, we build this amazing CV, and then reality arrives. Now it's time to find a job. And suddenly we realize something: everyone else is carrying the same backpack. Everyone also has degrees. Everyone also has masters. Everyone also studied for years. So the question is, are we doing it right? Or are we preparing ourselves in the wrong direction? Because maybe the problem isn't that we study too much. Maybe the problem is that sometimes we study without asking ourselves why. Let's be honest. How many girls choose a career because they truly love it? And how many choose it because my dad suggested it? My friend went into medicine. My neighbor did economics and she's successful. I watched a movie and the lawyer looked amazing. And suddenly we enter these careers: medicine, law, business, economics. And after a while we think, wait, do I actually love this? Or do I simply love the idea of this? Because there's a difference, a huge difference. And I think this is something we should ask ourselves at 18 or at 20. What is my real vocation? Not what sounds prestigious, not what impresses people, not what society applauds. What do I actually enjoy? What gives me energy? What kind of work would I still care about even when nobody is clapping for me? And there's another thought I always have. What would happen if every single one of us wanted to become lawyers? We would have too many lawyers, but also, would that really mean all of us had the vocation to be lawyers? Probably not. Society needs different people, different talents, different paths. Some girls are born to create, some to teach, some to heal, some to build businesses, some to communicate, some to lead, some to design, some to research. The goal isn't to become the same. The goal is to find where you fit, where your talent meets reality, where your passion also has a place in society. So maybe today I just want to leave you with one question. Instead of asking, what should I study? Maybe ask, who do I want to become? Because your studies are important. Preparation is important. Knowledge matters. But your 20s shouldn't only be about collecting titles. They should also be about discovering yourself. And maybe that's the real education. Next up, and honestly, this is a huge one, is love and relationships. Because when you're around 18, 20, 22, it can feel like everyone is in a rush. A rush to meet someone, a rush to have a boyfriend, a rush to have your first serious relationship, a rush to have certain intimate experiences, a rush to not be the only one who hasn't done something yet. And girls, I really want to say this clearly. You do not need to rush your heart. You do not need to rush your body. And you definitely do not need to rush one of the most important decisions of your life. Sometimes it feels like being single in your 20s is treated like a problem, Like if your friend has a boyfriend, suddenly you feel behind. If someone is posting flowers, dinner dates, trips, cute messages, suddenly you start thinking, why don't I have that? Am I missing something? Should I be dating more? Should I already have someone? But listen, just because someone has a relationship doesn't mean they have peace. Just because someone has a boyfriend doesn't mean they chose well. And just because someone looks happy online doesn't mean that relationship is healthy. Your life is not late because you are single. Your value does not decrease because you are not chosen by someone yet. Of course, at this age, we have emotions. We have attraction, we have curiosity, we have biological needs. That is completely normal. There is nothing wrong with feeling things. But there is a big difference between feeling something and letting that feeling drive your whole life. Because sometimes desire is loud, pressure is loud, loneliness is loud, but wisdom is usually quiet. And that's why we need to give ourselves time. Time to think, time to observe, time to ask, do I really like this person? Do I feel respected? Do I feel safe? Do we want the same things? Am I choosing him, or am I just afraid of being alone? Because life is long, there is time to love, there is time to experience, there is time to build something real. So why rush? I know women who started relationships almost by accident. One day they kissed someone, then they met again, then they started dating, then years passed, then marriage came, then children came, and one day, at 40, they looked at their life and thought, I don't even know if I truly chose this person. I just went with it. And that is scary because love should not be something you fall into without thinking. Love is beautiful, yes, but choosing a life partner is serious, very serious, because the person you choose can change your whole future. Your peace, your family, your home, your children, if you want them, your dreams, your emotional health, your confidence, everything. So no, this is not just about having a boyfriend. This is about choosing who gets access to your life. Before giving your heart fully to someone, ask yourself, do we share the same values? Do we see life in a similar way? Do we want the same kind of future? Does he respect my limits? Does he respect my family, my dreams, my time? How does he treat people when he gets angry? How does he speak about women? How does he behave when he doesn't get what he wants? Does he bring peace or confusion? Because attraction is not enough. Chemistry is not enough. A cute face is not enough. Even love by itself is not always enough. You need respect, you need character, you need shared values, you need emotional maturity, you need someone whose direction in life doesn't destroy yours. So girls, please remember this. Your 20s are not the end of life. They are the beginning. You do not need to panic. You do not need to copy your friends. You do not need to give your body, your heart, or your future to someone just because everyone else seems to be doing it. Take your time, observe, think, choose carefully, because the partner you choose may be one of the biggest decisions of your life, and you deserve to make that decision with clarity, not pressure, with peace, not fear, with self-respect, not hurry. So no, don't rush love. The right things in life don't need panic, they need time. Next one is how we relate to people, our social relationships, because honestly, have you noticed how we socialize now? Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, WhatsApp, DMs, voice notes, and sometimes we don't even call anymore. Actually, for some of us, calling feels scary. We think, please text me, don't call, just send a message. And I think this says something important about our generation. We are more connected than ever, but sometimes we are less present than ever. Let's be honest with each other. How many photos do we upload without editing, without a filter, without checking them 20 times first? Because now it feels normal. We retouch photos, we choose angles, we fix lighting, we hide imperfections. And after a while, something strange happens. We start building a version of ourselves online, a prettier version, a more perfect version, a more aesthetic version, always beautiful, always dressed perfectly, always happy, always traveling, always with the perfect coffee, perfect hotel, perfect background, perfect life. But let me ask you something. Do we post the photo when we wake up looking exhausted? Do we post the moment we feel insecure? Do we show the real version? Usually, no, because we are not showing reality, we are showing a highlight reel. And the problem is not that we do it. The problem is when we start believing that version is who we must be. And little by little, this creates something else. Fear. Fear of the physical world, fear of being seen as we really are. Maybe my body doesn't look exactly like my pictures. Maybe my voice isn't the one people imagined. Maybe my life isn't as luxurious as my social media. Maybe my reality is simpler. And suddenly meeting people feels harder. Because now I'm not only meeting people, I'm trying to protect an image. And girls, that is exhausting. Because people should love us for our personality, not our filters, not our aesthetic, not our fake perfection, our personality, how we think, how we speak, how we understand life. That is who we are. And I honestly think we have two paths. One path is living almost completely online, relationships through screens, messages instead of conversations, reactions instead of emotions, followers instead of friends, being connected all the time, but still feeling alone. And the second path is showing up physically, meeting people, having uncomfortable conversations, learning to speak, learning to be seen, learning to accept ourselves, because real relationships happen in reality. Face to face, voice to voice, energy to energy. Humans need presence. We need eye contact. We need laughter in the same room. We need hugs. We need human connection. And sometimes I think our generation is living inside a beautiful digital bubble. We can spend weeks alone in a room and think, I'm not alone, I'm connected. Yes, connected digitally, but maybe disconnected humanly. And this is where I stand personally. I think we should choose more real life, more presence, more authenticity, more courage. Accept your voice, accept your face, accept who you are. And if there are things you want to improve them for yourself. If you don't feel good physically, maybe start exercising. If speaking to people feels difficult, practice little by little. Talk more, go outside more, meet people more. Because social skills are also skills, and they grow with practice. Confidence grows with exposure. Human connection grows with presence. Girls, how you choose to relate to the world in your 20s will shape your future. It will affect your friendships, your relationships, your family, your opportunities, even the people you will meet or never meet, because maybe your future best friend is outside. Maybe your future partner is outside. Maybe your future life is outside. Not behind a screen, so don't hide forever behind filters. The world doesn't need your edited version. It needs you, the real you, and trust me, that version is enough. The fourth big area of life in your 20s is family, with it or without it, because something happens when we reach our 20s. We suddenly feel like adults. We feel independent. We feel like we know life. And honestly, that's normal. At 20, we think, I've got this. I know who I am. Nobody needs to explain life to me. My parents don't understand my generation. They think differently. We are the modern generation. We are technology. We know more. And maybe a small part of us even thinks we've figured life out already. And then we sit with our friends and we talk like we already have 20 years of experience. We give relationship advice, life advice, career advice. We say things like, oh no, I left him. He was terrible. I know exactly what I want. I already understand people. I know how life works. And I smile when I think about this because at 20, most of us are still discovering who we are. We are not finished. We are beginning. But sometimes while trying to become independent, we slowly move away from our families. Some girls leave home to study. Some move cities. Some start working. Some enter relationships. Some build new lives. And little by little, family moves to the background. Not because of hate, simply because we think, I don't need them anymore. But today I want to ask a different question. What is family? Because family is not only parents, family is your first circle. The people who knew you before the world did. The people who saw you before you became the version you show online. The people who saw your fears, your mistakes, your tears, to your parents, your siblings. The people who are your roots. And yes, maybe they won't understand everything. Maybe there are conflicts. Maybe they are imperfect. But having roots matters because life becomes difficult at some point. For everyone. And when those moments arrive, who is there? I know stories of women who wanted complete independence. They built their lives alone, Relationships came and went. Years passed, life happened, and one day they looked around and realized, I built freedom, but I lost connection. And I think that is an important reflection because independence is beautiful. We should work, study, travel, grow, become ourselves. Absolutely. But independence does not have to mean isolation. You can become your own woman and still keep your people. You can build your future and still call your parents. You can grow without cutting your roots. I think sometimes society teaches us that growing up means leaving everything behind. Family, home, old connections, the past. And maybe that is not always true. Maybe growing up is not leaving. Maybe growing up is learning how to carry people with you. Because one day life becomes real. Real problems come. Loss comes, illness comes, loneliness comes, and suddenly success doesn't matter as much. What matters is who is sitting next to you, who answers the phone, who says, I'm here. That is family. Girls, your 20s are not about proving you need nobody. Your 20s are about becoming yourself. And becoming yourself does not mean doing life alone. Keep your independence, build your dreams, become strong, become free, but don't forget your roots. Because the path you choose here, with family or disconnected from it, may shape your whole future. And sometimes the strongest women are not the ones who walk alone. They are the ones who know who walks beside them. Moving on to the fifth and final topic of life in this podcast, health, sport, or party and excess. And honestly, I think this one can shape your future more than people realize. Because when I say your 20s, I'm really talking about that age between 18 and 25. Those years where we are building habits, building identity, building our future. And there is one word that keeps appearing in all these episodes, rush, because I truly think our biggest enemy in our 20s is hurry. We are in a hurry to succeed, a hurry to love, a hurry to grow up, a hurry to live, and sometimes a hurry to enjoy life. I think life gives us two possible paths during these years. The first one is creating a structured life, taking care of your body, eating well, moving your body, building routines, doing sports, protecting your health. And the second path is the one that often sounds more exciting at first. Live fast. Enjoy now. Don't miss out. Party Thursday, party Friday, party Saturday, Sunday too because everybody is going, and suddenly 4 days of the week disappear, and little by little, fun starts becoming excess. Maybe alcohol becomes normal, maybe smoking becomes normal, maybe doing things just because everyone else does becomes normal. And sometimes we don't even stop to ask ourselves, do I actually want this? Or am I just afraid of missing out? Because let's be honest, at this age, there is pressure. If I don't drink, I'm boring. If I don't go out, I'm missing life. If everyone is doing it, maybe I should too. And I think we need to question that. Because why do we sometimes need something external to feel joy faster? Why do we need to push our body harder just to feel alive? Because happiness should not always need acceleration. And I know this might sound unpopular, but your 20s are not a race to burn yourself out. They are not a competition to see who lives faster. They are not about destroying yourself in the name of freedom. Your body remembers everything: the sleep you lose, the stress you ignore, the food you give it, the movement you give it, the care or lack of care. And I think sometimes at 20 we feel invincible. We think, I'm young, my body can handle it, I'll fix it later. But habits become lifestyles, and lifestyles become futures. So the question becomes, what future am I creating right now? Because every month you repeat something, you become that person a little more. And I want to say something important. Choosing health does not mean becoming boring. You can still laugh, travel, dance, go out, enjoy life, absolutely. But maybe enjoyment doesn't have to mean excess. Maybe enjoyment is also feeling strong, doing sport, walking in the sun, sleeping well, eating well, feeling proud when you look in the mirror, having energy, having peace, because health changes everything: your mind, your confidence, your relationships, your future, everything. Girls, I'm not here to tell you what path to choose. Nobody can do that. We've only explored 5 big spheres that can shape your future: studies, love, social relationships, family, and now health and lifestyle. But this last thought I want to leave with you. You do not need to rush life. Life is long. There will be time to enjoy. There will be time for experiences. There will be time for everything. And sometimes the things that bring the deepest happiness are not expensive, are not extreme, and are not even glamorous. Sometimes they are free. Health, peace, love, connection, purpose, and maybe that is the real luxury. Before we finish, I want us to look back at everything we've talked about. Because through this podcast, we explored 5 big spheres of life. 5 areas that, depending on how we live them, may shape our future. Not only our 20s, but the life we build after them. The first sphere was studies and preparation. How we prepare ourselves. Whether we study because it is our path or because society expects it. Whether we chase titles or discover our vocation. The second sphere was love and relationships. The pressure, the rush, the feeling that we need to find someone quickly. And we asked ourselves, do we choose with clarity or do we choose because we are afraid of being left behind? The third sphere was social relationships, the digital world, social media, filters, online lives, and we reflected on whether we are building real connections or only digital ones. The fourth sphere was family, with them or without them, our roots, our first circle, the people who knew us before the world did. And the fifth sphere was health and lifestyle, sport, nutrition, balance, or on the other side, excess, chaos, living too fast, trying to enjoy everything immediately. And when we put all 5 together, something interesting happens. We begin to understand that our lifestyle is not created in one day. It is created by choices, small choices, repeated every day, the people we keep close, the habits we build, the love we choose, the way we treat our body, the way we use our time. All of it becomes our future. Because our 20s are not only years, they are foundations. And the truth is, sometimes we can meet someone and notice things immediately. Not because we judge them, but because lifestyle leaves clues. How someone speaks, how they treat others, how they take care of themselves, how they move through life. All of it tells a story, and every day we are writing our own story too. Girls, I don't think your 20s are about perfection. I don't think your 20s are about having everything figured out. And I definitely don't think your 20s are a race. I think your 20s are about awareness, learning, making mistakes, growing, and asking yourself difficult questions. Who am I? What life do I want? What kind of woman do I want to become? Because one day, the future stops being the future and becomes your present. Girls, thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And now I want to hear you. What do you think about these 5 spheres? How do you live them? Which one has been the hardest for you? Which one changed your perspective? Because maybe your comment helps another girl. Maybe another girl reads your story and feels less alone. And maybe that's how we help each other grow. And remember, your 20s are not the end of life. They are the beginning. See you in the next episode. Kisses, girls.